Hey, Tony Gaskins here. Y'all gotta forgive me now, I'm driving, so I can't look at you. Wanted to pop on here and talk to you about this because this is something that one of the human needs. You know, one of the things that we need as humans is we have this necessity of people. We have a necessity of companionship, a necessity of love or affection or respect. And you see this across the board, where so many times in relationships, whether it's an intimate relationship, a business relationship, a familial relationship, there are neglected parties. And in these relationships, there are often times where someone feels like they aren't receiving what they should receive, and we go without. And there are several different types of personalities and how these things are handled. And I had to learn this myself in my life, because my personality is more so peep everything, say nothing, you know, like see everything, say nothing, and let it fester. And then after it has festered for a while, then say something. And y'all, I'm going to get a haircut now, so y'all forgive me looking rough. And then say something after. But when you say something, when I would say something, it would be after I'm fed up, after I've had enough. And so what I had to learn is how to express myself and communicate before I got to the point of being fed up, and to express the ins and outs, the whys. But before expressing, I had to identify what is the root cause. The root cause of these feelings, and what is the emotion that comes from the action that I want to see. So let's say I am loaning money and supporting someone I know, friend or a family member, and they say thank you. But with the money that I've given them time and time and time again, they could have done something, a gesture that shows real gratitude and appreciation. So it's like the Bible says, your gift will make room for you and bring you before great men. And I thought it was talking about your talent, like your abilities, but what it was talking about is like your literal gift. Like when you come before great men, like a king or what have you, you bring a gift. So it's kind of like if your friend invites you over for a night of cards or games, if they invite you over into their space, that means your friend trusts you. That means your friend really like you. So that also means your friend probably eat your food. If you don't know how to cook, then you could swing by Honey Baked Ham, send me a check. You can swing by somewhere and pick up a little dish. Take it on over to your friend's house. Swing by the grocery store. Get some spinach artichoke dip and some tortillas. But most people will just go over to the friend's house and just show up empty-handed. Ain't got nothing. Just taking advantage of the couch and the AC and the food that the friend gonna provide. So now the friend always providing their space, their utilities, and the food, and then people just coming over and just freeload. Coming over getting good fellowship, camaraderie, and AC and food. And the friend like, whoa, hold on now, what's going on now? And the friend love to do it. It have so much joy. Just smile and laugh, and everybody like, well, this what they do. This what they do. They love the host. I couldn't do that. I love the host. But not realizing it's just because they love the host don't mean that they don't want to be appreciated, and they don't want for things to be reciprocated, and that they don't want something that says thank you, because that is a human need. Every human needs to be appreciated, needs to be reciprocated, needs to be validated. That's a human need. So what you have to do is you got to get to the baseline of that need, and you got to understand your needs, and then you have to get to the root of the need. Because in some cases, humans have a need that comes from a deficiency. So if a human is in need of affirmation, validation, confirmation, reciprocation, although this is a natural need, sometimes it could be from an area of lack. It can be from childhood trauma. It could be from insecurity. It could be from something that has nothing to do with the person or the people that you're asking to fill this void. So you first gotta come up to a baseline of self-healing. Therapy, life coaching, reading, praying, whatever it is. You gotta come to a place to where you actually are being reasonable about what you're asking. Because some people, they are so deficient in a certain area for whatever reason that they need it above and beyond, whatever it may be. Affirmation, physical touch, conversation, they need it all day, every day. To the point that anyone who gives that to them, they will end up drained. So once you understand, okay, I'm not asking for something above and beyond, insanely crazy or a lot. This is something that is a human need. This is something that I'm asking for, you know, out of love and respect, or just reciprocation. So then you have to find a way on how will this be said? You know, how will you word this? So the first thing is being able to express your feelings and express your needs without attacking verbally or physically, without attacking and without manipulating. So you don't want to manipulate with guilt. You simply can express and say, hey, I am feeling a little unloved or empty at times, and I would love just affection, just a hug, a back rub. And you find a way to express that. If you're talking to your spouse, if you're talking to a friend, you can say, hey, I hope you're well, I miss you. And now this woman to woman now, this ain't man to man now. I miss you, and just would love to hear from you sometimes, to hear how you doing and how things are going. If you're talking to a family member or a friend that you always bending over backwards for, you can just write them, say, hey, I hope you're well. I wanted to write you just because there's been, you know, something on my heart, and I realized that when I help you and I try to be there for you, it does take something out of me. Like, I have to sacrifice and to do these things. And I would love if just, you know, when you think it, when you feel it, of just a token of appreciation, just to know that our relationship is reciprocal. And boom, you know, you put that out there. Now, you could word it how you want to word it. No wording is perfect, just because words are left to interpretation. So no wording is going to be perfect. You literally can have a linguist, a wordsmith write this for you, and the person who you wrote it to will still find something wrong with it. And a lot of times there are no changes. You know, you can say something to somebody and there's no changes. And I've noticed this in my life with expressing myself on things. That just, people are gonna be who they are, and sometimes you have to realize who a person is, and you have to decide, can you live with this or not? And then you also, a lot of times, what I call human physics. This is something I made up. I don't know if this is in physics class. I never taken physics class, but it's something I call human physics. Is when you chase, they run, and when you pull back, they come. And what I mean by that is, sometimes you got to remove what you're doing. And it's not a mind game. It's not any of that. It's wisdom of, you got to stop sowing on bad ground. You got to stop sowing seed on stony ground. When you sow seed, meaning when you give and when you do these things, when you give and you serve and you sacrifice, you're actually becoming a hindrance if this person is stony ground. So if this person is stony ground, you're hindering them and you're hindering their growth, because they don't appreciate it. They don't know how to receive it. And so you're hindering them when you keep giving to them. So you're not supposed to, even biblically, you're not supposed to be sowing on stony ground. But a person who is grateful, they're also going to be gracious. They're going to show gratitude. They're going to let you know that they're good ground and that you're fine serving in that way. And so you got to realize and understand that. You got to realize and understand that. And once you start to pull back, that friend or that family member or whoever it was that was just taking and not reciprocating. And here's the thing, sometimes what we do as humans and what people do is we'll reciprocate in a way that it speaks to us. We'll reciprocate based on what we want to do. So you may want to reciprocate with a thank you card, but your friend may want to, the person, whoever it may be, may want you to reciprocate by coming over and hanging out, you know, spending some time. And I was just talking to a gentleman. He was talking about how he like going through depression because his friends don't want to hang around. You know, his friends don't want to come hang out. And he kind of going through depression on that. And I'm like, man, that's tough. And, you know, one of his friends have a lot of money, and he like, you know, I don't want money. I just want his presence, just to be a friend again. And I'm like, man, that's real. That's real. And so I was thinking about this. And as I'm processing, I'm like, you know what? We have to communicate more of our needs, our feelings, and then we got to take inventory on the people we talking to see if they really can appreciate, respect, love, and understand. And I notice, and I see this, you know, often as a coach, you know, as I'm coaching people and helping people deal with toxic friends, toxic family, all different types of things, you know, that we're faced with as humans. It's weird traffic right now, y'all gotta forgive me. And it comes with the territory, but you gotta take inventory and look at yourself. So think about this and ask yourself, okay, who is doing something for me? And try to think of everybody that's doing something for you, like everybody that helps you, everybody that's granting you grace, love, mercy, support. And then ask yourself, am I reciprocating in the way that this person wants reciprocation? Because everybody speaks a different language when it comes to their needs. And so, for example, if I am loving my wife and I'm blessing her and I'm taking care of her and I'm protecting and I'm providing for her, I may not, you know, she may think about reciprocation as, let me offer him a coffee when I go through Starbucks, or let me, you know, run an errand for him. And that is an act of service, and that's great. And there's a time where the act of service that's great. But then there's also a time where I may need physical touch. And so if she's just doing acts of service, but no physical touch, then I'll start to feel deficient. And so what I will do is I'll take and look at the person that I'm dealing with. If this is a friend or a family member, I'll look at the person and then I will seek to understand. So I'll seek to understand who this person is. And I'll look at their history and I'll look at their biography. And then in that understanding, if I really care for this person, then I will seek to understand and realize that this comes from their childhood. This comes from their upbringing, like however they are, whatever they're going through. And so I got friends like this that I have to do this with. I got family that I have to do this with. I do this with my own spouse. I do this with my own sons. Looking at their personality and seeing how are they wired. Because sometimes we are expecting something from someone who is incapable of giving what we're expecting. And that's what we have to realize and understand. Now, yes, people can grow, people can change, people can develop, but not everyone has the same level of commitment, desire, and emotional intelligence. You know, some people are just going to be who they are. And we got to realize and understand that. We got to realize and understand that some people are so hardwired that they can't really change in that sense. Like they can't really, it's nothing they can do because they're so hardwired. They've gone through so many experiences. And so the person you're dealing with, you have to realize when you look into their life and you say, okay, well, he or she was raised with a single parent, and that single parent worked 2 jobs, 3 jobs, and just never got time to say I love you, and never just hugged and caressed and kissed on the cheek and just said I love you. they never received affection. They never really received affirmation. And when they did talk to their other parent, they received criticism. They received love in a way of, you're not good enough. Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? So they were always left in this state of trying to win the love and win the affection and win the approval of their other family member. So they had to build a wall. Not like Donald Trump, but they had to build a wall, and they had to put this shelter around them, and they had to grow tough skin because they weren't being loved in a way that they could truly feel and understand right then. Yes, the love came in the form of provision, having a roof, having clothes, having a little bit of food, but not in, I love you, you're doing amazing, keep going, you're so beautiful, or you're so handsome. They didn't receive that. And then sometimes some people received that, but then it also was all subtracted. They would get deposit, meaning you're so beautiful, or you're so handsome, you're so smart. But then when they did something wrong, they would get ripped a new one. Never about abused physically or emotionally or verbally, to the point that all of the deposits didn't equal up to that one withdrawal, and they left in the negative. So now they had to form a type of shell, build a type of wall to understand that when I hear affirmation, when I hear compliments, I can't receive them. I have to reject them. I have to not let it really hit and sink in. It can't count, because soon after these deposits, a withdrawal is gonna come, and this withdrawal is gonna deplete me. And that may not be your style. You may not be doing that. You may just love to give affirmation and just love to do that, and it just seems like they're like nonchalant, like shrugging it off and not really listening. You like, you know, what is wrong with you? Like, I try to, you know, support you and say this and say that, and you act like it don't matter. But you haven't taken the time to look into their life, to look into their history and their biography. And then when you do that, you start to see, you start to understand where they are deficient at. You start to understand where they're hurting at and what they're going through. And so now you can start to speak to that. And when you speak to that, this is your form of relational therapy, familial therapy. This ain't real therapy. You ain't got no real treatment plan like a therapist, but you're speaking to that, and you're able to say in words, like you could write it or you could say it out your mouth. And basically what you're saying is, hey, you know, I realize, as I thought about it, I realized, and this could be written or you could say it out loud, I like, and I recommend writing stuff, because the way the brain works, a person never really hears everything you say, because one word, one sentence could trigger them, and they could start to have a thought and a memory, or just foresight, fear, whatever, get defensive. But when you write it, they get to come back to it as many times as they like. And so they get to read it over and over and over, and they get to just see what you said, and then they can't argue with it. And when they get defensive, they read it again, they read it again, they read it again. Now it starts to they start to self-soothe, and they start to talk to themselves, and they start to really understand what you really were saying and what you really meant. And so I prefer to write it. And then some people be like, well, you know, well, why didn't you say this to me in person? Why you can say, hey, I can't, we can talk about it. I would love to talk about it, but I want it in writing so that nothing is missed, nothing is left out, nothing is misconstrued. And that happens sometimes when we're talking, because something could be taken the wrong way. So, but I would love to talk about it and reiterate what I said in the message. So then you take and you do that, and you speak to it, and you say, hey, as I was thinking, I understand that your life has been different than mine, and I respect, love, and appreciate you. And one of the things I realize is that you never receive real love and real affirmation and real support, and it has made you hardened and callous, and it's hard for you to receive affirmation. It's hard for you to receive true verbal support, and so therefore you don't let it penetrate and hit your heart. You block it because you fear that it'll be followed by disrespect or some form of abuse. And I just want to let you know that that's not me. I am not your past, and I don't operate in that way. And I just want to support you and love you. Don't say love if it's not somebody you love, but I want to support you, this and that, and I'm not going to undo the work that I do. I want to be there for you and to give you genuine support. And so you express this, you express this like this, and you let them know you want to give them genuine support, and you address it. So then they're like, okay, man, you know what? They're right. Oh, I end up getting here early. And then they know, okay, they right. I didn't think about that. I didn't realize that I was doing that. And they'll start to do therapy. They'll start to do therapy. They'll start to go through their mind. They'll start to think about, they'll start to realize and remember what they went through. And as they processing this, they thinking about what they went through, and they thinking about everything they experienced. And they're like, okay, I see. I do recall what happened. Like, this is what happened, and I recall this. And they're so right. Like, I'm taking my past and I'm projecting my past onto them. And that's one side of it. But the other side is, you gotta be real with yourself, and you gotta know when you being too needy. And you gotta get comfortable with yourself, because there is such a thing as being too needy, and you got to get comfortable with yourself. But a lot of times it's all based on what's being given and what's not being given. And so it's also important to understand that the circumstance and the situation and the environment can dictate your emotions and how you feel. For example, if a man is being very distant and cold with his woman, like he just kind of nonchalant, he just going through, like he's not really affectionate, and the woman is like, can I have a hug? And she coming to him like every day, like, can I have a hug? Can you give me a hug? And the man is like, hey, I'm sorry, like, I don't think about hugging. Like, I'm thinking about grinding. Like, I'm thinking about, I'm hustling right now. I'm working. Like, I'm thinking, so it just, I don't think about a hug. So, just give me a hug if you want a hug, but I don't think about it. So the woman expressing what she need, the man not doing what he's supposed to do, the woman expressing what she need, and then he's getting defensive. And instead of saying, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, I need to do better, that I need to show more affection, and then he make an excuse, and then he flip it back on her and say, no, you hug me. And that could be that woman feeling deficient, feeling unloved, and then she want that hug. But now if the man is hugging on her and loving on her and rubbing on her, then now she'll start to receive receiving, she being filled up. So now what the brain will start to do is, depending on her personality and depending on her upbringing, the brain is either going to say, let me reciprocate, let me find ways to reciprocate because I'm feeling so loved, I'm feeling so appreciated, I'm feeling so adored, let me find ways to reciprocate. Or the brain will say, oh, this feels good, like when's the next hit coming, when's the next dose of this affection, this love coming? And then she'll go into a space of just receiving, not realizing that humans don't give just to give, humans give to receive. Even when we say we're not giving to receive, we're giving to receive. Even though we're not giving to receive, we're giving to receive, if you get what I mean. Meaning, no human wants to just do, and not be appreciated, not be reciprocated, and not be a recipient of that same type of energy, that same type of effort. And so that has to be understood. But in most cases, most often, it's not understood. And we lie to ourselves. And one of the things that I've found that leads to a lot of disgruntledness and leads to a lot of hurt and pain is when we lie to ourselves and we're not honest with ourselves about our needs. We're not honest with ourselves about the things that we need. Y'all gotta forgive Bubba. I'm up here about to yawn. I'm up here yawning. I was up watching my show last night, went to bed a little later, and then had to wake up early to come get my hair cut. So give me a haircut today, get a little cleaned up, but then I'm get my nails, give me what you call that thing when you do your hand? That's the manicure. Got me a mobile manicure coming to the office. I'm gonna be coaching a client while I'm getting the manicure, so which is good. That means I can't talk to the manicures because that'd be kind of awkward for me. But it just saved me some time of having to go to somebody. And then sometimes I just like my little treatment. Just like my little treatment, man. Because I can have my wife cut my nails, but it ain't gonna come with no lotion and hand massage. So get your little manicures. And Lord, I hope it ain't no man. Oh yeah, we'll skip the massage today, sir. Oh, yo, no massage needed, sir. No, I'm all right. And so you have to think about this and be mindful of the dynamics. And then once you're mindful of the dynamics, then you start to realize, okay, let me fill me up. Let me fill me up as much as I can. Let me do everything for me mentally, emotionally, spiritually as I can. Let me get a haircut. Let me get my nails done. Let me take care of my skin. Let me shower. Let me do my reading of my Bible. Let me do my meditation or quiet time, whatever it is. Let me do my exercise. Let me do my walking. Let me do my clean eating, my meal prep, whatever I'm doing. Let me do as much for me as I can. Let me go to my favorite outing. Let me go to my movie. Let me go to the museum. Let me go to the aquarium. Let me do for me as much as I can. And then when I've done for me as much as I can, and I'm doing for me as much as I can, now what do I need from the humans in my life? From this human here, I need gratitude. I need space. I need respect. Like, please, I've helped you. Don't keep asking me for help. I told you that I've helped you to my exhaustion. I've done everything I could do. If I can help you, if I get it, I will help you. Please do not ask me. I will help you at this period in time, and that's all I can do. Do not ask me for anything over that. That's what I need from you. This human over here, I need real appreciation, real gratitude. Meaning, I need from this human here, I need, Barbara get out of that car? Oh no, Barbara pull up over there. This human over here, I need a little bit of space. I need some space to where I don't have to text all day, talk all day. This human here, I need this here. And you identify what you need from these people. And if they're not giving it to you, then you have to express it. You got to articulate it. But you articulate it in a diplomatic way. As per the email. You know how they say it in corporate? When you have to repeat yourself, as per the email. As per the email mean, like I done told your behind already. As per the email. So that's, you got to use that type of language. As per the email language. You got to be diplomatic in your response, because you done had it. You done had it. You fed up. You sick and tired of being used. You're sick and tired of being just giving, doing. And you on this constant thing of, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? And yet you still not receiving, and you done had it. And you got to express that. You got to express it. And you got to express it not just for you, but for them too. Because they need to learn. They have to learn you. They got to grow. They have to get out of their comfort zone of not giving and not doing. And they got to do all of that as well. And so you want to take and make sure that you expressing it, but you expressing it the right way. Don't express it in a way that it has festered and boiled over. Like Langston Hughes' poem, A Dream Deferred. Because this your dream that they'll treat you like this, and they don't treat you like that, and now you're not getting, now your dream deferred. So now it give you a wound, now it start to scab, and it start to fester, then it start to boil over, and now you ready to blow up. And so you have to recognize that, realize that, and approach it in a way that, okay, I'm cool, calm, and collected. I'm going to express this. And when you write it in the text message, you have to read it 3 times. And what you do is you subtract filler words. You subtract manipulation by guilt. This is not a guilt trip. You're expressing what I feel, what I need. It's not about a guilt trip. It's not a grocery list of everything you do. You're not listing out every single thing you do. You're basically just saying, hey, this is what I need from you. Hey, I would love this from you. And that's that. And you letting them know that, hey, I know this may be uncomfortable. I know it may be out of your comfort zone, but it will mean the world to me, and it would consummate and affirm our relationship, our friendship, whatever it may be. And you expressing that, but you got to make sure that you have addressed you. You got to make sure you've addressed your problems. So with this, if you're in a real sticky situation, a different type of relationship, different type of friendship type thing, it may have to be a case to where you talk to a life coach. If you need to book a session with me, just go on mymentor.life. If my sessions are not in reach or whatever, not in the budget, then we got other coaches. Just book a coach that, you know, you like their picture and their windows to the soul, their eyes look honest. Just book, you know, and they don't need a professional headshot, because that don't really mean nothing, because some people got a cell phone. But go to mymentor.life, and this is what I want y'all to do. Go to mymentor.life and go all the way. When you hit find a coach, that first page, and you go to the bottom, you'll see 4 arrows with the numbers. I think it's like 38 pages of coaches. Click that far arrow. It's 2 arrows pointing over that way. Click that far arrow. It'll take you to the very last page. And then you start clicking the arrows on the left, not the far one, but the one on the inside. You just click that, and now you're going through the pages backwards. So that way you're being fair, and you're not just booking the coaches on the first and second or third page. You're getting to look through all the coaches. You look through the coaches and look at their coaching categories. Look at their coaching categories and see somebody didn't know how to use the filter. When you click find a coach, you'll see a thing that say find a filter. And it'll tell you that you could do the filter. And so with that, barber coming to get me. It'll say you find the filter. And so with that, you select the service or the price or what have you, and then you hit you select that, and then you'll hit apply filter, and then it'll switch it up and it'll show you the coaches that is coaching that category or coaching that price range, and then you got what you need. So you have to think about it like that and go on there and book your coach in case you need to address you. Because sometimes what you're gonna hear, bro, what's going on with you? Finishing up a little video. Sometimes what you're gonna hear is that you the problem, and the coach gonna be able to tell you that and be real with you. And then you can say, okay, you know what, I'm asking for too much. Let me get this together. But hey, I done made it to the barbershop, about to get my hair cut. Go out, bless you. We'll talk soon.